all. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people in this world who are, let's have fun now, and whatever happens down the road happens down the road.
I believe the kids call it YOLO.
YOLO, exactly. Chris Conte is a professional, elite level YOLOer. Yeah. I mean, is he not?
I feel like he's willing to give up a lot to not be very good at football.
Well, I mean, he has the opportunity, like we said, there are very few people who can be an NFL quarterback. There are very few people in society who can play for an NFL team. Mm-hmm. And understanding that you have the opportunity of a lifetime that a lot of people would kill for, and appreciating it for what it is, and being willing to, go out there and play injured sometimes, and accepting your fate as a result of what you put into this opportunity, I find it refreshing.
It is a little bit refreshing, and it is, like you said, probably some young man machismo, and a lot of these players probably subscribe to the same feeling as Conte did, but they just never say it, because I feel like if Chris Conte, heaven forbid, does have some health problems down the line, and then he wants to join in some of these class action lawsuits against the NFL that are going to continue to be springing up, this is going to be held against him very, very much so.
Absolutely. I mean, and if that was to happen at that point, then I think we could judge, but we don't know that that's going to happen. So I'm going to chill on that until he actually tries to take advantage of his post-NFL life financially.
Speaking of chill on that, everyone is chill on Johnny effing football, as he got his first start Sunday at Cincinnati and put up 0 points while throwing 2 interceptions. Hot takes were everywhere. People are already calling him a bust, and it was I had to turn ESPN off, because once they compared how many yards Johnny threw to opposed to how many yards the Cavs threw in a game,
yeah,
I was done. I mean, like, come on. You're supposed to be the leader of sports news, and this is garbage. So what was your take on your Texas A&M boy, done good, getting his first start? Hot take.
I just don't find it as huge of a deal as others seem to. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is you knew coming in that the type of offense that Kevin Sumlin uses in college football is not going to translate to the NFL. And so you're going to have to work with those guys who obviously have talents, but developing those talents to be applicable to professional football. Mm-hmm. And Johnny Manziel is obviously not there, and at least as evidenced by this first start. Now, he played better in a preseason game than he did in his first start, which says something given it was week 15, and he's had the whole season to try and learn this offense. I don't excuse his awful performance. At the same time, you're going to give guys with a lot less of a quote-unquote, media-driven name than Johnny Manziel a chance to at least grow on the football field. And the Browns' chances of getting in the playoffs, are they non-existent yet? Are they out?
I believe they're out, yes.
So let them play these last 2 games. And if you don't like it, then, figure out what you're going to do at the quarterback position. Maybe he's not the answer. It is what it is.
Yeah, I listened to Doug Farrar of Sports Illustrated has a podcast. He had Greg Cosell on, and they brought up some really interesting takes about going from a college quarterback in a college offense to an NFL quarterback. And they compared him to Troy Smith, I believe, when he came out of Ohio State. Heisman winner just like Manziel, but just never found footing in the NFL, because it is such a different game going from an offense where wide receivers are wide open and you don't have to throw them open. You got huge windows. But in the NFL, people a lot faster, and those windows are a lot tighter, and you have to throw with anticipation, and that's something that Manziel doesn't have yet. But then again, right. A lot of rookies don't.
Right.
Teddy being the exception. Hello.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, proceed.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, winning a Heisman Trophy does not guarantee anything. If you look at the statistics, success for previous Heisman winning quarterbacks in the NFL, it's not on their side.
You mean that Gino Torretta and Jason White aren't lighting things up?
No, they certainly are not. And it's hard to just fight. What wins in college doesn't necessarily win in the NFL. And just because you win or you're flashy or you look good at the college level, it really very rarely means crap in the NFL. They play a different type of football, and it's not going to translate. The defenses are too good. Once you get game film on these guys and you realize what they're all about, it's so easy to light them up in the NFL. And you've got to mold that guy. You have to draft that guy believing that you can mold him into an NFL quarterback. And if you can't, then he's just another, Heisman statistic.
Speaking of Heisman statistic, do you think Mariota's going to pan out in the NFL?
No.
Oh, you're breaking Sharona's heart.
I know. I don't think he is. I know that's not what a lot of people want to believe, and that's fine if they don't want to believe that. But just that type of offense where you find your first read and you throw the ball and you don't ever have to go through progressions quickly on the fly with huge guys coming at you. That is a big adjustment in the NFL, and it's not something that comes natural to a lot of people. And the Oregon offense is not one that traditionally, Chip Kelly has it in Philly, but we see what their quarterbacks are doing right now. Mm-hmm. We've seen what they've done in his second year. They're not very good.
You mean that Dennis Dixon isn't panning out on the NFL level?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, no, I don't think he is. I don't think he's the guy.
I suppose. Someone else who was not the guy at Nebraska anymore was Bae Pelini. Bye, Felicia. And Bo had some choice words for his former boss, Nebraska AD. Who cares what his name is? Sean Eichhorst. Yeah, there you go. And in his last meeting with his Nebraska players, this is some good stuff. So here we go. This is from the Omaha World Herald, broke the story, and Pelini told his players, quote, "Appreciate you guys coming out, and, obviously the last couple of days for me have been kind of crazy. Just giving you guys a heads up. It wasn't a surprise to me. It really wasn't. I really didn't have any relationship with the AD. The guy, you saw the guy yesterday. The guy is a total pussy." The crowd laughs. He is, and he's a total cunt. And since I've been here, he's been here for 2 years. I've had a conversation with the guy a couple of times. You've seen him. He's never been in the locker room at the end of the day. He was never going to support us, and quote, and he goes on like that a little bit. And complete flamethrower out the door. And this is actually one of the things that I loved about Bae Pelini is that he does not give an F. Like, I think it was last year he got in some heat for calling Cornhusker fans Fairweather fans and a spade and all that good stuff. But he just completely torched Nebraska out the door. He recently was hired as Youngstown State's new head coach. That's in Ohio. I believe they're 1AA, and it's where Pelini's hometown is as well. And yeah, what are your thoughts about just completely blowing up the former boss?
What does it matter now? Honestly, if you go back and you look at what happened when Tom Osborne left, and then what's happening with Pelini, and the situation with this, what's his name? Einhorn?
Sean Eichhorst.
Eichhorst. Well, it'd be better if it was Einhorn, I think, because that makes me
think. Finkel is Einhorn.
Yeah, that. That's really funny to me. Anyway, it does seem like there are internal things, because if you look at Bae Pelini's record and how those students, even after he's fired from the job, they still laugh at, whenever he says things. It's not like the crowd seemed at all disenchanted with Bae Pelini. Mm-hmm. It seems like Bae Pelini and the administration had an obvious rift. And I don't think anyone who could potentially hire him in the future would hold that directly against him and him alone.
It's his personality. It's who he is.
It is. And it also is part of what makes him successful.
And speaking of successful, Michigan, baby, Harbaugh allegedly offered him a contract of 6 years, $48 million. That number has been disputed, but I'm guessing Harbaugh's camp leaked that out there, just putting it out there for leverage, whether it be with the Raiders, 49ers, wherever Harbaugh might end up in the NFL. But do you think he's legitly considering this offer?
It sure is a lot of money.
Wow.
It is a place that he is familiar with, obviously, and a place that I think you would like to believe as just a person of some semi-reasonable integrity, he wouldn't want to lead on or cause them any sort of distress.
But it's such great leverage.
Well, it is, but at the same time, he has some allegiances there. I mean, I personally wouldn't hold, if A&M offered me a bunch of money, I wouldn't hold them out there and cause them future damage just to gain some benefit in my life.
Would you be the VP of Alumni Relations? Hello.
Why wouldn't I be? That would be pretty cool. But I'm kind of what they call a 2%er. I don't all buy into all the Aggie-ness. So, yeah, I wouldn't be a good person for that job. But
you wouldn't be at Hollerin' practice?
Yell practice?
What else?
No, I only went to one or two of those. Yeah.
Lame.
I don't do that sort of thing. I'm not a cheerleader type of football fan. I just want to watch the games.
All right, so back on Harbaugh. He's already leveraged them once before they hired Brady Hoke and got a better deal out of the 49ers. And, Michigan loves Harbaugh, and both the brothers. Actually, didn't John just go to high school in Ann Arbor, I believe?
I have no idea.
Anyways, so they obviously have allegiance to the Harbaugh family and especially Jim. But how many times can he just use them as leverage? Maybe this time, maybe one more time after Michigan inevitably hires another coach and then fires him within 4 years? Because I feel like this job will always be in his back pocket.
But I don't think that, there are grown-ass men running Michigan's athletic department. I don't think they're going to fall for this. If it's a ploy, I don't think they're going to fall for it more than once.
I don't know, but Michigan's suffering attendance. They broke their streak of 100,000 at the Big House. And Harbaugh, love him or hate him, he is going to be Michigan's favorite son. He is going to be the guy who can save us from Urban, the guy who can beat Ohio State and blah, blah, blah. So do you think the ultimate coup would be he uses this to leverage a huge-ass contract with the Raiders in the NFL, somehow wins a Super Bowl with the Raiders within 5 years, the Raiders get sick of him, as they inevitably do, of Harbaugh, and then he goes to Michigan. He comes home, he got a Super Bowl ring, he's coaching his alma mater, he's still young, he's still spry, he's making an ass load of money, and living like a king up there in Ann Arbor.
I just don't think that the university is going to be willing to play the fool. And I don't think that people are going to be so forgiving if, as it inevitably does in this day and age, gets out that he was playing them.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Speaking of playing, North Korea was playing Sony, allegedly, as there was the data hack. And released all of the emails, all those intimate details, social security numbers of actors, movie stars, and some very questionable emails that ruffled a lot of feathers. And then this all over, allegedly, the interview featuring Seth Rogen and James Franco, which was due to come out on Christmas, but Sony decided to pull it. Of course, as I'm sure many of you heard, it dealt with a plot of two interviewers, two news people, and a plot to kill Kim Jong-un, the current demigod of North Korea. And so what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Sony chickened out? Do you think they should release the movie?
What else could they have possibly had that they hadn't already released? That's what I wonder. What's the threat now? Everything is out there.
They were threatening moviegoers, and then a couple of movie theater chains said that they were not going to show the movie, and then Sony eventually buckled there.
Right. I know that they said that they weren't going to show the movie, and that's happened with other movies before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing it. There is a movie theater in Austin, Texas, where they, instead of showing that movie at the times that and the screens they had planned to show the interview, they're going to show Team America World Police, which I find awesome. It's awesome. America. Fuck yeah.
No, see, I don't know what's going on with this, because how come North Korea didn't put up a stir and hack whatever company was putting out Team America World Police in 2004?
Right. Well, that was